Welcome to the Vault XL. Thank you for joining me. I'm going to do something different on this live stream. Usually I suggest movies to you all for the week and the weekend. I will now play the trailers so you can get an idea of what the movie is about. And also during this live stream, I will reveal the results of a polls rather, but the polls will be from the fans' personal opinion of themselves. Usually I give polls pertaining to breaking news. I'll ask you questions about the people in the storyline, the victims, the perpetrators, people who were introduced into a true crime case. But this time, I asked you all personal questions and you answered. The list was very long last night. I stayed up, I think probably 2 hours making polls after I went live. So this will be something new I will do. Come up with a question, hypothetical situation, and ask your opinion. I'm sure there are many people who probably answered the questions who do not watch my content, don't watch my videos, and that is fine. It is to get an idea of how you think, because usually I'm asking how the perpetrators and the victims think. Now I turn the tables to ask you all the hardest, grittiest questions I could come up with, from relationships, murder, affairs, how you feel about yourself, your children, just to get a general idea of who is watching YouTube and also this network. You're now listening to the Vault XL movie suggestion of the week, A Deadly View. Please check my community page for all said updates, breaking news, polls, and movie suggestions, and where to find the movies. Mar Vista Entertainment is the source of this trailer.
Do you really have to go into the office?
I'll pack some more stuff tonight. Just try to enjoy your free time while you still have it. Bye.
Bye. I met our neighbors today.
I'm Sandy, I live next door.
Oh, Rachel.
I'm Yvonne. I live across the street.
I'm Grace. You met my husband this morning?
Hi, neighbor.
Okay. A mix of boring and crazy.
People here are living lies on top of lies on top of more lies. It's easy to get tripped up.
A fight across the street. I think someone's hurt.
What does it make you think you're crazy? You should follow your intuition. Disappearing with strangers, spying on your neighbors.
It's so early.
Oh. I've kind of always had problems with anxiety.
I highly recommend you mind your own business and leave my husband out of whatever trouble you're trying to whip up.
What's wrong?
I saw something. There's nothing. I saw Steve. We have to get out of here.
Okay.
We have to get out of
Honey,
here. See for yourself.
what are you talking about? Seriously, something is wrong. Rachel, calm
In a strange house, strange town, full of strange people. Nothing to do and nowhere to go.
Are the suburbs really that bad?
A Deadly View. Mar Vista Entertainment. Thank you for joining me. I will now get to my said commentary pertaining to Brooks Houck. A judge has denied a bond reduction of $10 million. It stands for now, and he is in a Kentucky jail. Why not forfeit some of your properties? You want out of that jail, Mr. Brooks? Then I guess you need to start tallying up your dividends to get out. WDRB News is the source, my first source pertaining to this storyline. Thank you for joining me.
will stay in place for the man accused of killing Crystal Rogers.
A request to lower it was denied. WDRB's Katrina
Hello,
Nichols
lady.
details why the judge made that ruling. Katrina? Brooks Houck's bail was set at $10 million when he was arrested last month. His attorney tried to lower that to $500,000 in GPS monitoring, but a Nelson County judge had several reasons to deny that request.
It's all there in black and white.
Louisville attorney Thomas Clay has practiced law for nearly 50 years and says Nelson County Circuit Court Judge Charles Sims' reasoning to keep Brooks Houck's bond at $10 million is clear.
He's concerned about Mr. Houck's businesses. He's concerned about his assets. He's concerned about his conduct. And it's all in that order.
Brooks Houck is accused of murdering his former girlfriend, Crystal Rogers, who disappeared in 2015. Houck has been the lone suspect for 8 years. While Clay is not working this case, he's familiar with Judge Sims.
The judge is in my opinion, very thoughtful judge and gave us a lot of consideration.
In the court order, Sims denied a motion to reduce the $10 million bond. For one, he argued Houck has the financial resources to pay. He said out of the 83 properties affiliated with Houck, the document says tax assessments for 66 of them total $8.5 million. Second, Sims said the court is gravely concerned for the safety of any witnesses and other individuals connected to this case.
I remember where you had witnesses that were concerned about their safety, so we basically will counsel them on here are the things that you can do to protect yourself.
Concern for witnesses is where Sims also brought up Brooks Houck's brother Nick and the possible connection to Tommy Ballard's murder, Roger's father. Sims wrote they will not speculate, but it's, quote, extremely alarming. Nick Houck may have sold a gun that matches 4 of the 5 criteria used in Tommy's shooting. Houck's other family members, including mom and sister, are also mentioned in the order, in context of them recording grand jury proceedings, which are supposed to be secret. Judge Sims says this puts the integrity of the entire court proceeding at stake.
One of the factors the judge took very seriously was the possibility there could be witness tampering or threatening witnesses.
Houck's attorney, Brian Butler, did decline to comment, but he does have the chance to appeal the judge's decision. All right, we'll see what happens in this ever-evolving case. Katrina, thank you.
WDRB is the source. Witnesses. Mother, sister, brother, whomever in the courtroom many moons ago, recording the grand jury session, which that's a no-no. Now we're talking about a gun linked to the death of the father. The man had every right to seek justice for his daughter missing. He obviously believed this man was behind the disappearance of the daughter, and at some point believed she was deceased and he murdered her. What was the motive? Because many people are wondering that in the town. What was the motive for murdering this lady? Because I'm sure many people do not believe that she is alive. Judge denies request to lower Brooks Houck $10 million cash bond. Amen. Bardstown community reacts to judge denying the bond reduction for Brooks Houck. WHAS 11 is the source, and they have been on the case since day one. Thank you for joining me. Very sad situation. And the fact that the mother, family, brothers are involved, no one is safe in this town. And you also have to be leery of anybody still affiliated with the judicial process, deputies, whomever, police officers, detectives, anyone in a law capacity that could still be in the hands and or pockets of this Houck family.
Bond won't budge. A judge in Bardstown today decides that $10 million it is for Brooks Houck in jail, and that's where it's going to stay for the accused killer of Crystal Rogers. Appreciate you staying up with us late tonight. Hello, everybody. I'm Doug Prophet. Also tonight, one U of L professor who predicted last week in a live interview on WHAS 11 that the judge wouldn't change it is talking with us tonight. WHAS 1119's Taylor Woods and photojournalist Elijah McKenzie are also talking to residents.
In Bardstown, once again, a development in the case of Brooks Houck that has residents talking, a judge refusing to lower his high bond.
Probably a lot safer.
Nelson County Circuit Judge Charles Sims III is keeping the bond at $10 million. The judge cites 4 reasons. The first, the court believes Brooks has access to substantial financial resources, making less than $10 million unreasonably low.
Especially with somebody with that much money, you never know what they can do.
Exactly.
And as far as the witnesses goes, nobody wants to see, something else happen.
The judge said he believes that most defendants are a flight risk when facing life in prison like Houck. Plus, the judge wrote there is 1 or more cooperating witnesses and the court is concerned for their safety, and the court wants it to be a fair and impartial trial and believes the integrity of the proceeding is at stake because of the actions of the Houck family deliberately engaging in misconduct.
It's gone on many years. They worked very hard to prosecute him, to get the correct evidence, and I believe now that they finally do have everything they need, I think he should be held.
Sam Markison, U of L law professor, predicted last week on WHAS 11 that the judge wouldn't move the bond. He said the behavior of the Houck family factored into that.
Recording grand jury testimony against the law, potentially being involved in a murder, an additional murder of Brooks Houck's brother, Nicholas.
Markison says these raise real concerns about whether additional crimes could be committed if Houck got out of jail.
Those are reasons that the court can hold you without bail at all, without release at all. So in this case, the judge didn't do that, but he was certainly not going to reduce the bond given those risks.
Yet some Bardstown residents still have questions they hope will be answered soon.
I think everybody just wants to know why. What's the motive? Why Crystal? Why Tommy?
Until then, most are hoping this gives the Ballard family some sense of peace. In Bardstown, Taylor Woods, WHAS 1119 on your side.
By the way, the next court date for Brooks Houck is scheduled for February 8th. That's for a pretrial hearing. He is currently being held in the Hardin County Detention Center. To stay up to date on any new developments in the Crystal Rogers case, stay with WHAS11.com, and you can also download the free WHAS 11 app.
What was the motive for her death, the father's death? Who killed the father? The brother? Mr. Brooks? Someone else? This other guy that's been arrested? We can assume that Brooks is the one that killed Crystal. What was the motive? Was she leaving him? Did she threaten to leave him? Threaten him not to have access to the child they shared at that time? What was the motive? Who else was in the lineup to be murdered or disappear? I thought it was bold to kill the man anyway. No hunting accident. No misfire by accident. Anybody with sense knew that it was a connection to the disappearance of Crystal Rogers. Bold and brazen. And he said a bold and brazen statement by killing him. As I said, who else is in the pockets of this family? What else will we find out about this cases? Who are the witnesses and what do they have to bring forward to reveal to the public? Are the witnesses safe? Because just because he's locked up does not mean money can't exchange through hands and someone decides to exact revenge, Mr. Brooks Houck and his family, against the said people who are going to testify. Because you'd be surprised how word can get around that somebody wants somebody to have a nasty accident for the right dollar amount. And it would be devastating that someone gets dead while he is still incarcerated. And if he has any sense, he'll leave these people alone, whomever they are. I find it interesting that they got information of them bringing in recordings to the grand jury. Well, why didn't you prosecute them? Everyone knows it's secretive. So why are we just now hearing about this? And what year was that they recorded grand jury session? See, that's devastating right there and hard to digest. It's bad enough 2 people are dead, and then you get information about them going in with recordings. And as I had said before in a live stream, how did they get in a courtroom with the recordings without someone being suspicious? All these people are related with recorders. Come on, you guys. What? Mommy hid it in her brassiere? She had to dig it out. Where would a guy have hidden it? In his pants? He'd have to unbutton his pants to pull it out. I'm being serious. And even 8 years ago, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, there should be security at this courthouse in this town, because most towns have security in the courthouse. You have to go through a machine to be checked. So I'm trying to figure out, how are all these people related, walking into a courtroom with recorders, and who is the person that gave up the information that they had them, and how long has officials known that they had recorders on them? When did this information come about? How did the state get this information? Recently, when they arrested the other guy for conspiracy, or they've known years ago? And if they've known years ago, then that means the judicial process was tainted even then. Because in the end, he's gone many years and has not faced justice, Mr. Houck. Why not? Any accessories? Why not? Mentioning of his brother, this other guy that's been arrested. So I'd like to know, when all this came to fruition, this guy being arrested, when did law enforcement get information from him or about him? And who dropped the bang on that guy? I'd like to know that. Who gave up the information pertaining to the accessory? A third source is the same network, WHAS 11. Brooks Houck's attorney appeals motion not to reduce bond. This was uploaded 5 hours ago. Thank you for joining me. Very odd last name.
Hello, everybody, and thanks for joining us. I'm Doug Prophet. There's another new development tonight in the argument over the bond for Brooks Houck. The attorney for the main suspect in the killing of Crystal Rogers is now heading to a higher court in Kentucky, appealing the decision to keep it at $10 million. WHS 11 Shane McAllister has more on the filing to the Kentucky Court of Appeals.
In court, Judge Charles Sims III heard both sides for and against a bond reduction.
The grand jury out of Nelson County that set this bond, I had been practicing 28 years. I have never heard of a bond even coming close to this.
And I can tell you, I've never asked for a $10 million bond. This is the first multi-millionaire I've prosecuted for murder.
In his 20-year career, Sims admits this is the highest bond he has ever given. He laid out 4 reasons why he believes Brooks Houck must be held on $10 million. First, the court believes Houck has access to money to pay the bond. In the judge's order, he said Houck owns 3 construction companies and 83 rental properties. The tax assessment totaled $8.5 million.
Wow.
Next, the court believes Houck could be a flight risk because he's facing life in prison. Sims says most defendants can be a flight risk when facing tough penalties. The third reason speaks to the violence of the alleged crime. Judge Sims is worried for the safety of witnesses. These concerns stemming from the bombshell released at the arraignment. New details in the investigation of Brooks' brother, Nick Houck.
They're waiting for testing to come back on the firearm they believe was used to murder Tommy Ballard.
Wow.
A firearm that we purchased from Nicholas Houck.
Prosecutors are having the gun tested right now. The gun they believe was used to kill Tommy Ballard. And lastly, the court wants a fair trial. The judge says he believes the Houck family could be jeopardizing that after what Judge Sims called deliberately engaging in misconduct. The first allegation is from early on, when Houck family members secretly and illegally recorded grand jury proceedings. As for Houck's appeal, the Court of Appeals could release a decision in the next few months. Shane McAllister, WHAS 11, on your side.
And right now, as we speak, Brooks Houck is still in the Hardin County Jail, and his next court appearance in this case is set for February.
Thank you for joining me. February, into the new year. No holidays, no freedom to roam, to hurt anybody, threaten anybody, murder anybody. The mother looking stoic and looking like a mean pit bull in the courtroom. Reporters trying to get information out of her, asking her questions coming out a week or so ago. She had nothing to say, naturally. Of course not. Did she know that her children murdered Crystal's father? Did she know that her son murdered Crystal? What all does she know, husband know? This gun is waiting to be tested to get results back from, I guess, the state lab or wherever they sent the testing off to. What will it reveal? And you hear this attorney saying, we bought the gun from the brother. Imagine that. The brother killing an elderly man because this man wanted justice for his daughter. In the end, it doesn't really matter who pulled the trigger. They're all complicit 9 times out of 10. They're all in cahoots and have knowledge of the murders. They're all thick as thieves. They're all evenly yoked in mayhem, foolishness. One moment, please. Will justice prevail for Crystal and her father? Will the witnesses be safe? Is there a dirty bird still lurking around, plural, in this town? Police officers, detectives, deputies, sheriff, because that's what the concern is from the judge. And as I said, and I want to keep saying it, how in the world did they get in the courtroom with the recorders to record the grand jury session? I don't understand that. So I'd like to know when this information was revealed, uncovered. I'm almost thinking that people have known all this mess from day one. Because in small towns, people talk. And a lot of us question how there could be so much chitter chatter and gossip about certain things, but yet nothing's ever done to the people. And you see this all the time. You see it in higher courts, upper ranks of court, companies, political arenas. There's always something that gets out and everybody's looking like, okay, why is this a discussion and nothing has been done? That's what you're hearing here. There's probably been a lot of talk over the years about these people, the conspiracy to murder this young lady and her father. Probably get together to discuss who else they want to knock off. And nobody's gone to the authorities to say a damn thing. What role did this other guy play who's been arrested? A $500,000 bond. Did he give up information because he was involved in something else nefarious? He wanted to cut a deal for himself? Was he being surveyed by FBI agents, state police? What is the 411 on that guy? Because that's what opened this case against Mr. Brooks. And finally, justice has come home. Finally. I just hope it prevails. I hope nobody gets scared, because now you have to also ask yourself about the jury panel. Will people be afraid to be on the jury? Even if another jurisdiction is chosen, people still talk. People talk. Oh yeah, I saw such and such going to the courthouse, or somebody decides to talk that is a jury member. So you have to worry about all of that. And you don't want these people getting wind of anybody on the jury, nothing. And like I said, you got to pray that you don't have any foul law enforcement still on the force in this town. That's my commentary. Once again, check my community page for said updates, breaking news, polls. As I said, I'm doing something different. I will play trailers to the movies, movie suggestions for the week and the weekend. And I also will ask hypothetical questions to the viewing audience pertaining to life. Instead of asking questions about the people in the true crime cases, I'm now asking you personal questions. The second part of this live stream are the answers to the polls that I posted in the wee hour morning. And we will discuss your responses. Thank you for joining me. If you'd like to donate to this great network, $, McGangie, 129 Cash App. Stickers and chats are welcome during the live stream. Let's get to it, everybody. There are a lot of questions, so bear with me. 19 hours ago, have you dated or married an abusive person? 77% yes, 23% no, 155 votes. Would you stay with an abusive mate? 5% yes, 95% no, 98 votes. 2 comments. I lived in fear for so long, afraid to stay, afraid to leave. I finally left. Lost everything financially, house, savings, etc., but had my life. And I could finally breathe again. I had forgotten who I was. It took about 5 years for me to come back to life. I thank God I found my strength and walked out the door. Judith, 3502. Lauren Dickman. I did too for many years, never again. As I said to the viewing audience, thanks for sharing. Next live, I will discuss the results. Have you been intimate with your spouse, mate's brother, or sister? 0% said yes, 100% no, 35 votes. Have you ever been intimate with your mate's spouse's partner? Yes, 4%. No, 96%, 46 votes. If your mate's spouse's partner made a pass at you, would you reciprocate? 6% said yes, 92% said no, 2% said not sure, 52 votes. Are you attracted to your mate's spouse's brother or sister? 3% yes, 97% no, 65 votes. If your spouse or mate died, would you date their brother or sister? 0 no, 0% yes. 94% said no, they would not date their spouse's brother or sister if the spouse or mate passed away. 6% of you said you weren't sure, 33 votes. Why do you want to leave your mate or spouse? Nobody replied. Do you want to leave your mate or spouse? 14% yes, 86% no, 21 votes. Do you wish you could walk away from your kids, young or older? Yes, mine are young, 0%. No, mine are young, 13%. Yes, mine are older, 4%. And no, mine are older, 83%. Very interesting. So most of you, and those of you who have older children, do not want to walk away from your children. Do you like or love your children? Yes, like, 0%. No, I don't like them, 0%. Yes, love, 100%. No, I don't love them, 0%, 25 votes. Do you desire another spouse or mate? Yes, 12%. No, 88%, 26 votes. Tell us why you want to walk away from your life today. No one responded. Do you want to walk away from your life? 17% of you said yes. 83% of you said no. 23 votes. Would you walk away from your life today if you could? Yes, 15%. 85% said no. 20 votes. Are you a silent or vocal hater? Silent, 41%. Vocal, 59%. 17 votes. Very interesting. What would you change in your life today? Be honest. One person responded. Angry Mimi says, I would love to have done more with my life. No one ever told me or mentored me or taught me about how being an educated woman would benefit me. Sure, stay in school, and I did, but there were many more distractions that led me astray. Are you genuinely happy with your life? 57% of you said yes. 43% of you said no out of 21 votes, one commenter. Angry Mimi. Most of the time, even though it's been hard. Do you wish your life was better? 85% of you said yes. 15% of you said no, 20 votes. Do you wish you were someone else? 15% yes. 85% no, 20 votes. Do you wish you could relive your childhood? 19% yes. 81% no, 21 votes. Do you long for a past lover, mate, or spouse? Yes, 25% of you. 75% of you said no, 20 votes. Have you regretted marrying? This is a very interesting result. 47% of you regret ever marrying. 53% of you said no out of 17 votes. Two commenters. Well, besides myself. Angry Mimi says, I regretted one, the other two, no. Laugh out loud. The Queen replied, thanks for sharing. Have you ever regretted having kids? 13% of you said yes. 87% of you said no. 23 votes. Have you ever stalked a person for whatever reason? 23% of you said yes. 77% of you said no. 22 votes. Have you cheated or are currently? Yes, 33%. No, 67%. Currently cheating, 0%. 24 votes. Have you stolen or steal now? Yes, 43%. And no, 57%. Currently stealing, 0%. 23 votes. Have you had an abortion? 32% of you said yes. 68% of you said no. 25 votes. If you witnessed a murder and was threatened by the killer, would you still call the police? 86% of you said yes. 0% no. 14% of you are not sure. 22 votes. Would you support your friend if they intentionally killed someone? 11% of you said yes. 67% no. 22% said not sure. 27 votes, one commenter. Lori Squires says, yeah, if that was my friend. So Lori says she would intentionally support her friend if they intentionally murdered another human being. If your mate or spouse intentionally killed someone, would you support them? 13% yes, 63% no, 25% of you are not sure, 24 votes. If your parent intentionally killed someone, would you support them? 24% of you said yes, 48% of you said no, 28% of you said you're not sure, 25 votes. If your child intentionally killed someone, would you support him or her? 38% said yes, 38% said no, 25% are not sure, 24 votes. Have you dated or married a killer? 8% said yes, 92% said no, 26 votes. Would you date or marry a killer? 96% of you said no, you would not. 0 yes, and 4% not sure. 24 votes. Do you personally know a murderer? 42% of you said yes. 50% of you said no. 8% of you are not sure. 24 votes. If you could get away with murder, would you do it? 8% yes, 92% no, 26 votes. Have you ever killed someone, plotted it, accessory before or afterwards? Yes, murdered someone, 0%. Plotted it in your head, 100%. Accessory before, 0%. Accessory afterwards, 0%. Only 6 votes. Thank the Lord for that. Has anyone ever admitted a murder to you? Did you believe them? Yes, admitted, 5%. No one ever told me this, 73%. Yes, I believe them, 18%. No, I did not believe them, 5%, 22 votes, 1 commenter. Tracy Jones replies, yes, I was arrested for a fine and shared a cell with a woman who was arrested with boyfriend for the murder of a Pat Gammon in the 80s. She told me why it happened. Wow, very interesting. Never heard of that case. Have you ever witnessed a murder or an attempt? Yes, 17%. No, 83%. 23 votes. These polls may be gritty, but they are windows into the souls of those watching this network and YouTube. I decided to cross over to see who would be honest enough to answer questions about themselves. It was time to hear from you all personally instead of asking about true crime victims and perpetrators. Thank you. 1 commenter. Love you, Queen. Angry Mimi. Thank you. Would you call the police on your friend if you found out he or she has molested your child or another child? Yes, mine, meaning my child, 89%. No, mine, 0%. Yes, other, 11%. No, other, 0%. So what is bothersome about this poll? It's that 89% of you would call the police on your friend if they molested your child, but only 11% of you would call the police if they molested somebody else's child. So why is there a difference between your child and another child? Because a child is a child, correct? These are 18 votes. I pinned this comment, and it is from myself. I give options for mates, family, and friends because some people will choose to not turn in family, but possibly their friends, vice versa. People hold other sins for a multitude of reasons. Tracy Jones replies, anyone who abuses child, police going to hear from me. Well, that's wonderful to hear. Would you call the police if your parent molested your child or another child? Yes, mine, 89%. No, mine, 0%. Yes, other, 11%. Still neck to neck with the other poll. No, other, 0%. 18 votes. So once again, you would call the police if you found out your parent molested your child, but only 11% of you would call the police if your parent molested somebody else. That's very scary. I'm just saying. Would you call the police if your sibling molested your child or another child? Now the ranks are higher. 94% of you said yes, mine. No, mine, 0%. Yes, other, 6%, even lower. No, other, 0%, 16 votes. So 94% of you would call the police if you found out your own brother or sister molested your child. But only 6% of you would call the police if your relative assaulted somebody else's child? Why? Please explain why you would only call the law if it's your brother, your child being molested by your mother's brother, daddy, mama, but you wouldn't call if they molested somebody else's child. This is very scary. This is why I make the post, see, to show you how some of you think. Very, very scary. This is scary to me. Ooh, Lordy. All right. Get back to where I was. Thank you all so much for joining me. Feel free to go over and take the polls while you are listening to this live stream. Okay. Hold on one second. So many questions. Once again, 94% of you would call the police if your own sibling molested your child, and only 6% of you would call if it was another child. Would you call the police if your child had molested a sibling or another child? 84% says yes, 5% no, 11% not sure, 19 votes. Would you call the police if you found your mate, spouse molesting your child or any child? 100% yes, 0 no, 0% not sure, 19 votes. Did you ever choose a child offender over your kids' family? 0% yes, 100% no, 20 votes. How many of you continued a relationship with a child offender after an allegation, during incarceration, and after release from jail? 0% said yes, 100% said no, 14 votes. If you assaulted a child in the past, do you have remorse? Yes, 75%. No, 25%. 4 votes, 1 commenter. Angry Mimi says, I don't know how to answer as I've never assaulted a child, so I do not have any regrets. Well, that's the whole point, Mimi. This question was for those who it relates to. So 75% of you said, yes, you do have remorse for assaulting a child. Now, the people who took this poll, the 4, whomever, I guess 4 votes, you are saying that you have molested a child? Because I wasn't referring to beating a child up, physical or verbal abuse. Now the tough question. Have you ever assaulted a child as a child, adult, both, and still? 60% of you said as a child. As an adult, 0%. Both, 0%. Still offending, 40%. 5 votes. Dear God, what did I just read? Angry, here you go. None of the above. This is scary to me. 5 people voted on this poll, and you all admitted that you did assault another child as a child at 60%. And you're still offending at 40%. That's not good. That's not good at all. How many of you told your parents you were assaulted and they called the police or nothing was done? Police was called, 25%. Nothing was done, 67%. Parent exacted violence on perpetrator, 0%. Parent confronted perp but never called the police, 8%. 12 votes. How many of you never told your parents you were assaulted as a child? Told them, 62%. Did not, 38%. 13 votes. If you still have contact with your child assaulter, tell us why. You still feel guilt? 0%. Forgave him or her? 25%. They apologize? 0%. Don't know? 50%. Combination of all? 25%. 4 votes. So what is scary is that 50% of you still interact with your assaulter your child assaulter and do not know why. Wow. And 25% of you forgave them. Do you still have contact with your child assaulter? Yes, 0%. No, 100%, 10 votes. Kind of contradictory to the question I asked before, because I asked if you still have contact with your child assaulter, tell us why. Very, very interesting. Don't know if those are the same people in both polls or not. Did you forgive your child assaulter? 23% yes, 77% no, 13 votes. If a perp is found guilty of child touching assault, should he or she receive life in prison? 100% of you said yes, 14 votes. Who assaulted you as a child? Parent, 0%. Sibling, 0%. Another child, 0%. Relative, 64%. Stranger, 36%. 11 votes. Were you assaulted by as a child? Yes, 62%. I don't even know if I understand my own question there. 38% of you said no. Okay. I think I need to take that one off because I think I didn't word that one properly. Were you assaulted as a child? I think I put the buy-in by mistake. I think I meant to ask you, were you ever assaulted as a child? 62% of you said yes. Should children, and that was 13 votes on that. Should children support parents found guilty of child molestation? 5% of you said yes, they should support their parents. 95% of you said no, 19 votes. Does Alyssa McCommon's family believe she is innocent or guilty of the allegations against her? 29% of you said yes, they believe her. They believe she's innocent. Some believe she's innocent, 71%. Some no, 0%, 7 votes. Can an adult child molesters be cured to never reoffend? Yes, 6% of you believe they can be cured. 89% of you said no. 6% of you said not sure, 18 votes. Did Alyssa McCommon's husband neglect her, which possibly led her to be attracted to and later abuse boy children? Yes, 0%. No, 63%. Not sure, 38%, 8 votes. So 63% of you don't believe neglect from her husband caused her to molest children. Do you think Alyssa McCommon assaulted boy children as a child or a teenager? 100% of you said yes, 6 votes. Did Alyssa McCommon's children and her husband suspect her of inappropriate behavior with boys? So 43% of you believe her kids knew. Yes. 14% of you believe the kids did not know. 29% of you believe the husband knew. 0% of you said the husband didn't know. And then 14% of you are not sure of either kids or husband knowing. 7 votes. Do you think Alyssa McCommon assaulted other boy children in her home? 87% of you said yes. 13% of you are not sure. 15 votes. Do you think Alyssa McCommon was assaulted as a child? Yes, 55%. No, 9%. Not sure, 36%. 11 votes. With what you have seen and heard about Alyssa McCommon, is she innocent or guilty? 100% of you believe she's guilty, 20 votes. Do you think someone else knew that Alyssa McCommon molested boys? 71% says yes, 6% said no, 24% said not sure, 17 votes. Should Alyssa McCommon's lawyer be representing her since he knows her and husband? 30% of you said yes, 70% of you said no, 20 votes. Did someone else contact the victim pretending to be Alyssa McCommon? 12% of you believe someone else called her on that phone, called the boy child, the victim. 47% of you believe do not believe it was somebody else. And 41% of you are not sure. Very interesting. 17 votes. Do you believe Alyssa McCommon contacted a victim by phone after bonding out? 93% of you said yes, 7% are not sure, 14 votes. See, this vote is contradictory to what I just asked you, because the 93% of you that believe she contacted a victim by phone, here I asked you, did someone else contact the victim pretending to be Alyssa? 12% of you said it was somebody else. And then 47% of you said no. So 47% of you don't believe it was somebody else. But then we've got 41% of you not sure. But then I asked you this question. Did she contact one of the children? 93% of you believe she did. So why were you confused at the other questions? Very strange. All right. Should Alyssa McCommon have received a higher bond her first arrest? 85% of you said yes, 15% of you said no, 13 votes. Do you believe new allegations against Alyssa McCommon? 100% yes, 9 votes. Do you believe first allegation against Alyssa McCommon? 91% says yes, 9% not sure, 11 votes. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. What punishment should Alyssa McCommon receive for assaulting the boy child? 10 years or more probation, 6%. 10 years or more incarcerated, 48%. Life in prison, 45%. 62 votes, the most votes I've gotten on all of the polls. Wow, wow, wow. Those are my questions thus far. Thank you all so much for taking the polls and responding. For those who are listening to this live stream and those in the chat who have not taken the polls, please take the polls, because naturally they will change as people comment and or cast their vote. Every day there's something new in the news pertaining to true crime. You don't know people. I found this story a day ago, and I tagged Chris Thorns in this story. First Coast is the source. Former daycare employee admits he molested children at Chappelle's school. He sits in the court looking stupid and dazed. And I'm asking myself, why do I keep seeing all these stories of people molesting and hurting children? But where I'm the most baffled is when I see a female being arrested for inappropriate behavior with a child. And I brought you that commentary, I believe it was yesterday, of a young girl. The case is about 5 years old. She was a teacher. She looked like a kid at that time. And she accosted, I believe it was a 13-year-old. And it's just very hard to wrap my mind around a girl or a woman messing with a child. But it happens. And I guess we're seeing more and more of female offenders. Very, very scary. Law and Crime uploaded this content a day ago. Ohio youth social worker arrested on 24th birthday and accused of sexually abusing 13-year-old boy months after getting her license. What in the hell? This is crazy to me. 9-year difference. She was fresh, obviously out of college. Most kids who attend college straight from high school graduate from college at least 22 years of age, depending on when their birthday falls. And here's a woman who's 24 years of age, teaching school, molesting a 13-year-old. We are in desolate times. because you're hearing more and more offenders are females, and the ages are getting younger and younger, especially with school teachers. And what I have to ask myself is the obvious question. Were they sexually molested as children by a child or an adult? Did they ever start molesting other children as an adolescent, teenager, and then continue through adulthood? And I do believe a lot of these people do not have or had a decent childhood. Could be wrong, of course, because what would possess you to be attracted to a 13-year-old, a 12-year-old? It's all the same to me. 11, 12, it doesn't matter the damn number. What in God's name could you possibly see in a 12-year-old, 13-year-old? You're 24, and you should be attracted to 24-year-olds, 20-year-olds, not 11 or 12-year-olds. And this is what baffles me. And we're seeing it more and more as this case has come up with this Covington, Tennessee teacher, Miss McCommon. You go into the YouTube queue. This is when other stories come about in the queue in similar to that story. You don't know people. You can't trust your family, your friends, your associates, your neighbors, teachers, mentors, coaches, strangers. And that's bad business. And also friends of family members. Whenever you can't trust your child to be in the company of another adult, God forbid a child as well, what kind of life can it be for a child? That they can't do anything. They can't play with people. They can't go places with people. Because now we have people so brazen, men, they'll accost their child in public. Walk by and rub up against them, touch their leg or arm or private part, buttocks. Just nasty as hell. This is the world that we're in. No one is safe out here. And as I've always said, no one is exempt from being a victim of true crime. You just have to pray that you won't be, because you're not safe in your house. It doesn't matter if you have ADT cameras, doorbell cameras, motion lights inside the house, timers inside on lights. If that's the day a person wants to try to get to you, he or she will, or they. And know that lines can be cut from outside, so it doesn't really matter if you did have ADT. Because if someone goes and cut the lines, the wires, now there's no footage. There's no recording. And sadly, these people out here are mimicking fictional characters from movies, books. And that's the scary part. I want to thank you all so much for joining me. This is a very short live. Please take the polls. Please check my community page for breaking news and updates to stories I've brought to you and recent coverage of stories. When I get more information pertaining to Ms. McCommon, I will bring you that said story. And also Brooks Houck, who is now remanded in a jail with a $10 million bond. We will see if he tries to liquidate any of those assets that he owns to try to get out of jail. And as you heard in the commentary tonight, he owns a lot of properties, 83 rentals. That's a lot. So he has some money, and I'm sure he has some money in the bank. And I'm also curious, with all that information relayed tonight, how much cash does he have readily available in his checkings and savings, and also put up in his home or parents' home? Because a lot of people do keep cash stowed away in their house, in their yard, somewhere that they can get to it. So how much readily cash does Mr. Houck have that he could go get to take to a bail bondsman? I'm curious. How many people will be arrested in this crime against Crystal Rodgers and her father? Will the gun come back matching ballistics, matching what was shot out of the gun owned by the brother Nick versus ballistics found at the crime scene and in the victim, the male victim, the father. Will the witnesses be safe? Will the jury members be safe? This is a deep, deep story. Because as I said, it would be a travesty to hear someone had a nasty accident while serving as a jury member and or before, after testifying against Brooks Houck, his brother, his parents, and also the co-defendant that has been arrested and also in jail on a $500,000 bond. That's my content for this evening. Once again, if you'd like to donate to this great network, $ Big Angie, 129 Cash App, stickers and chats are welcome during all of the live streams. You all have a wonderful week. Once again, please check my community board for movie updates, movies coming out to the theaters, and also my recommendations. You all have a wonderful week. You have been listening to The Vault XL.